welcome to math on this Thursday morning, and today we are going to be learning about area. So we have been learning about perimeter, which was the distance around the outside, and today we're going to talk about what's inside. So I have drawn these two rectangles here, and which rectangle has the larger area? So think about this. If these were two pieces of cake, which one has more cake? So in order to help us visualize this, I'm just going to put these squares. They're my grandson's blocks that I bought for him, so they have to fit on here. And oh, there's a nice colorful one. So this one had 3 squares that went in it, and this one had 4 squares. So we would say that the area of this one is 3 square units, because 3 of these squares fit in there. So it's got an area of 3. This one has an area of 4 square units, because 4 of these squares fit in there. So now I have this one here, and I bet you can guess by looking at it, but I'm going to put the blocks in here anyway, and I find that this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this has 6 square units. All right, let's turn this over. Now I made an E shape with my blocks, so I'm going to fill them in. I gotta look for all the little guys. So if I fill this in, that's how many square units it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you didn't have squares, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 10 square units. So this one, I could put my blocks back on there again, and I would see that this one, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one has 10 square units as well. 10 square units. Oh, that was fun. So I'm just going to make something. I have these tall ones too, and you're just going to pretend that they're short, because otherwise I didn't have enough blocks. So you're just going to pretend that they're short blocks, just like the other guys. They're just like a regular old square. Okay, they're not sticking up any taller, they're not any different. So this is my, well, let's see, I don't want to push that guy out, so I'll just go over here and put this guy going. Take these guys out, and we'll do it like this. Oh, I can't do that. That doesn't work. It has to be this way. Oh, that was silly. That didn't work the way I was doing it. So if I was to do it this way, this shape has an area of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This has an area of 20 square units. Well, you guys don't usually work with squares in math. You usually work with something called centimeters. But before we get to that, you're going to, if I didn't have these squares and they were to give me a shape like this, I could very quickly figure out what the area of this square rectangle is, because I can do this. I can connect these dots together with nice straight lines, turn it around, and now I can very quickly count the area of my rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this was 12 square units. This one, my ruler out to connect these guys. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square units. Square units. This one, oops, I used my ruler. Sorry. You're going to be using your ruler too. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 square units. So that's how that works. Then, as I was mentioning a minute ago, you guys measure in square centimeters. And a square centimeter is a centimeter by a centimeter by a centimeter by a centimeter, and that's called a square centimeter. But mathematicians are like, well, that's really long to write every time you want to write what the area is. So they've also come up with a short way of doing it. It is a centimeter, and they put a little 2 up in the air behind it, which means squared. So that little 2 up there just means that something is squared. So it is a square that has all 4 sides are centimeters. So this is 1, 2 square. So we would say this is 2 centimeters squared because it's 2 blocks that have all their sides are centimeters. So if I was to measure the length of each side, I would say 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, that's 3 centimeters. I don't say that that is 3 centimeters squared because here I am just measuring the length of the side. Here I'm actually measuring the area inside that square. And because it's centimeters each side, I call it centimeters squared. So when I measure the sides, I don't say centimeters squared, it's the inside there. Okay, so here we have a drawing, and I've taken out the lines inside these 3 shapes, A, B, and C. So you need to figure out what the area of A is. And a really easy way to do that is just to continue these lines and fill them in, and then you will be able to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And those are centimeters. So I can't say that they're square units like I was on this page. They're not square units because these were squares, not centimeters. So here I have to say there are 9 centimeter squares. 9 centimeter squares. B, draw those lines on. 1, 2, 3. So B is 3 centimeters squared. So got to remember that too. And then C, I'm going to continue my lines, make sure I use a ruler. It'd be very easy not to use a ruler, but the instructions are going to ask you to use a ruler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 8 centimeters squared. Make sure you put that little square up there. So whenever they have a shape, a square, and it's 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, we say that is centimeters squared. But we've also learned different kinds of measurements. We've learned about meters. Remember those ginormous meter sticks in our classroom? Imagine if we had 1 meter stick this way, 1 meter stick that way, 1 this way and that way. That would be a huge square, and that would be called a meter squared. So when you have a meter squared, that is quite a big square. And what it means is that all 4 sides are 1 meter. So if you were to ask to measure the area, how much space inside Walmart has, would you use little centimeters? Or would you use big meters? You're right, you would use meters squared. What about your math paper? You're right, I would use centimeters squared too. How about your backyard? Yeah, it's meters squared. How about an eraser? Yeah, they're small, centimeters squared. A table. If I'm looking at this table here, I would use centimeters squared because that's smaller than a meter stick. How about a park? I would use meters squared to figure out the area of that one. Okay, so those are some of the concepts that we're going to be working on today. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video. I have one more thing to go over with you, and then we're going to go over the work, and then you can head off to your showing what you've learned today. So come back for part 2.